What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. Just like my last video, this one looks a bit different because I am indeed out here taking trips. Anytime I do some of the content we produce on the channel, it's always good to hear dissenting opinion. I'm not expecting everyone to agree with me. In fact, I don't even encourage it. Do your own homework, come to your own conclusion. So it's always good to hear comments of pushback and things like that. So when we see something interesting, we certainly will discuss it. Now, in my previous video, we talked about the importance of ratings. I've done many videos because I am not ashamed to admit I drive a hard bargain. There's a lot of shit that I won't do. Let me go to a softer street because the street is bumpy as hell trying to get to my next one. But I'm not going to do a bunch of shit for the same pay. I just believe that a lot of things that come from Uber and Lyft are unprofitable. And if you don't have any sort of filter on what you're willing to do, if you say yes to everything, every trip, every customer request, you're going to lose money. But because I do videos about the importance of, or not necessarily the importance, but the desire for a decent tip, and we talked about ratings. In my last video, I asked, what is your concern with ratings? And we talked about the potential or the goal of becoming a 5-star driver. Someone responded, not with that attitude, Tim, talking about yours truly, said, you will never become a 5-star driver. Now, he's talking about yours truly. So, in other words, my attitude makes it unlikely that I'll become a 5-star driver ever. And I responded in kind to that comment and agreed with it. Gave him a thumbs up and everything. Because I do not believe my way of thinking, my mindset in regards to rideshare and whatever allow me to become a 5-star driver. I do say no to a lot of shit. I get drivers in my community because I have a sister city that's 30 miles or so away, and a lot of passengers want to go to that town. And there's not a lot of trips in between here and there. So if you take someone to the neighboring town, the chances of you coming back with a trip are all but zero. So if I drive you 30 miles out of town, that whole 30 miles coming back is going to be on me and my own expense. And a lot of passengers do not like that. And because Uber and Lyft, for the most part, did not used to tell us where the destination was going to be, you didn't know where a person was going until they got in the damn car. I had to kick out a lot of people because I'd say maybe 5% of the trips we get go out of town. And every time you do it, it's a loss. I mean, you're driving 30 miles and they're paying you like, 10, 15 bucks or so to take the trip. And then you got to drive that whole 30 miles back at your own expense. I think the most I ever made going down there was about $22. Now, when you add on traffic and shit, you're talking probably about, to drive 30 miles there and back, total of 60 miles, it takes hour and 15 to 90 minutes to do that. 90 minutes of your time, you're getting 15 to 20 bucks, and gas got to come out of that. It's not worth it on any stretch of the imagination. So I would tell passengers who have already gotten in the car, sometime I've put bags in the trunk or some shit. Once I see that trip where they're going, I'm like, ma'am, sir, I can't take you there. Well, why the hell not? I've been waiting for a half hour. It's not profitable. They don't give a shit if your trip is profitable or not. One of the problems with Uber and Lyft, in my humble opinion, they have created some of the most entitled passengers this side of the damn moon. Is that passengers are basically trained not to give a damn about you, to think that to some degree you almost want to do this for free. You love ride sharing and taking people places that you almost want to do it for free. Remember, they started out by telling the passengers you didn't even need to tip. It was in the fare. People actually just get in your vehicle and they feel entitled. So when you start talking about, well, I can't do that because it's not profitable, who gives a shit if it's profitable or not? You should want to do it because I asked. Oh, hell no. So it led to me getting lower ratings because once you accept the trip, you now have given that passenger the ability to rate you. So what I started doing before they started telling us where passengers were going to go is I would accept the trip, or better yet, I would slide arrived. That's what it is. He slide arrived. I would slide arrived and figure out where the person was going and cancel the trip if it was going to a location I didn't want to go before they got in the car, because it cuts down on the risk of having a conflict. I've said it before in many of my videos. Canceling trips is dangerous if you have the right shared passenger in the vehicle with you. So if you want to cancel a trip, it's far better to do it when the passenger is not in your vehicle. Like, for instance, stops. I'm not a big fan of doing stops. Once again, that's something that can hurt your ratings. So as my viewers suggested in the comments, you'll never be a 5-star driver with your attitude. He's correct, because I don't like doing stops as well. Stops can be unprofitable. Do you mind stopping at Walmart while I go in and get something? You're losing money. So I'll take you to Walmart, but the minute you get out of the vehicle, I generally cancel the trip. Well, oftentimes that results in a low rating. I had one woman, took her to a pizza joint, and she expected me to wait until they made her a whole damn pizza. I canceled the trip immediately, and she made up a whole bunch of shit and wrote to Uber on me. I responded with a very short sentence and said, that's just not true. I don't do that with passengers, something like that. And fortunately, Uber did not take it seriously, but she just made up a whole bunch of shit. So it's not uncommon, and I'm sure some of my veteran drivers, some of you folks in the comments can even discuss things that were made up on you just because the passenger wanted something that you wouldn't do. I mean, Uber, in my opinion, Uber and Lyft has kind of fallen in their footsteps, but Uber is the granddaddy of all this shit. But Uber has created an environment that is not favorable for drivers, which leads you to your own devices to refuse and reject a lot of shit so that you don't get taken advantage of. And Uber doesn't back you up on any of it. Even though they call us independent contractors, anytime you want to do something on your own accord and act independently, you run into trouble from Uber and Lyft. I mean, the whole purpose of the 5-star rating system, to some degree, was to punish drivers for not taking and doing everything that was given to them. I mean, if you've been driving long enough, you know that Uber and Lyft had ways of punishing drivers for not taking trips they don't want. In fact, they're still doing this shit. What did they just pass, not recently, where they adjusted how they figure out your ratings so that you got to do more trips for a longer period of time to maintain the same rating. You know, the diamond and platinum status and all of that bullshit. All of that was created to try to force you to do shit you don't want to do. Even customer service, I think you got to reach diamond status or something like that to get 24-hour customer service. Why do I have to take more trips just so I can call customer service? If something's going wrong, why do I got to work hard to be able to get in contact with you? It's all smoke and mirrors bullshit. But let me know in the comments, what do you folks think? Because, yeah, that to my viewer that said I would probably never become a 5-star driver with my mindset or with my attitude. I mean, I hate to say it, but he's damn right. He's damn right. Because I'm not going to do shit that is not profitable. And that really is the best way, at least that I can think of, unless you folks in the comments can come up with a better way. But in my opinion, the best way to become a 5-star driver is to be a simp. Do every damn thing that the company, talking about Uber and Lyft, and the passenger ask you to do. And do that shit with a smile on your face, whether you're making any damn money or not. That's the best way to become a 5-star driver and probably go into bankruptcy. It's your boy Tim. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.